I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to once again gather together. We ask that you guide us and direct us in making the right decision for our city. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Teresa. Roll call.
Hurt. Here. Albert.
Here.
Venable.
Here.
Turner.
Here.
Stock.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Meadows. Here.
Mr. Goulder from Waste Management will not be here this evening. He's not doing very well. He expects to be at the next council meeting. So any other citizens' comments? Brad, how are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, my name is Brad Wooldridge. I am from Ward 1. I own and operate WJ's at 418 6th Street, which is also in Ward 1. I note on tonight's agenda there are proposed, or at least discussion about proposed street closures for the upcoming Heritage Days. Also included in your packet is a cover letter that I'd previously submitted in regards to the proposed closure on 6th Street south of Chestnut for the carnival. There's also language in that letter that said that I want to work with the Chamber of Commerce, the Heritage Days Committee, and the city to ensure a successful Heritage Days. So right out of the gates, I want everyone to know I'm trying to be agreeable. Also in your packet, there's a proposed map of the closure that had moved the beer garden over to the parking lot directly across from WJ's. Although that personally is not my preferred location for the Heritage Days Beer Garden, I also am not objecting to that. I don't have a problem with it. I think there's going to be some conflicts, but I think that we can work through those. The issue that I have and why I'm here tonight with public comments is within the text of the proposed street closures, particularly under requests for street closures and barricades requested. There is language in there towards the top of those pages that requests closing 6th Street from Chestnut north all the way up to Spring Street, which then effectively causes the same problem that has been the primary source of my concern in years past, is it essentially landlocks WJ's. Because if 6th Street's closed from Chestnut north towards Spring, there is no point of ingress and egress to get to my restaurant. Parking's already going to be limited. It's happened in the past. We worked through that. But given last year and the effects of COVID, we have been supported very heavily by curbside, and we have continued to have a curbside business. So shutting down 6th Street all the way from Spring, effectively at least through Vine, allows no place for any cars to pull up to the restaurant to not only park to come in to eat, but to even get curbside food. That is my primary and only concern. I'm not objecting to the proposed location of the beer garden. I'm not objecting to the proposed location for the carnival. We will work through those. My issue is essentially landlocking WJ's yet again. This time it's just barricades and closing down that parking, which then gives me absolutely no point for my customers to come to the restaurant.
That is the way this is reflected on here. Is that the one that you...
The map that's in the packet that I believe had the beer garden marked in, if it's in color, it's in yellow.
Yeah, it's yellow.
Directly across the parking lot from WJ's. I don't have a problem with that. Chestnut Street was always going to remain open based on my conversation with the gentleman that you appointed to look into this. And I don't have a problem with the beer garden where it's at. But within the text language that's also in the council's packet tonight, there's a request for beer garden, 6th Street from Chestnut north to First Alley on 6th Street, and then on barricades requested at 6th Street and Chestnut Streets north of Chestnut to block 6th Street, at First Alley north of Chestnut Street to 6th Street to block 6th Street, which then effectively shuts down 6th Street from Spring all the way down, at the very least, to Vine and possibly to Locust.
Okay, so the language is different.
The language, the language is in conflict with the proposed map.
Oh, okay.
So I hope that it's an error or an oversight, but if there is a request to close 6th Street from Chestnut North to Spring, I am in objection to that because that landlocks us yet again, which has always been the primary concern I've had on behalf of my restaurant.
Yeah, that's really old language. Do you know what he's talking about?
I think I know what he's talking about. I think that's an error.
It sounds like it.
The language should not say that, because that's not our intent.
Yeah, that wasn't the map at all.
No, that's not, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the only reason I came to public comments. I didn't see it until today. I just wanted to bring it because I knew that it was on the agenda. As I'd indicated, and even with the cover letter in there, I'm agreeable to work with the Heritage Days Committee and the Chamber of Commerce to ensure a successful event. But if there was a request later on your agenda to close 6th Street from Chestnut North to Spring,
Right.
I would be in objection to that.
The boss has spoken.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Right.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Brad. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you all.
Any other citizens' comments? Okay, approval of the minutes of May 3rd, 2021. Are there any corrections, adjustments? Then they will stand as submitted. There are no consent items. Presentation of accounts and claims is on page 9.
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries and various accounts against the city of Boonville, which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on May 17th, 2021. The sum of $356,240.42. General fund, $145,045.50. Sanitation, $33,822.59. CIP tax, $11,867.54. Waterworks, $72,263.58. Capital projects, $0.00. Wastewater, $50,230.79. Tourism, $4,807.57. Gaming, $20,603.73. Parks and Water, $540.37. Kemper sales tax, $17,058.75. Economic development projects, $0.00. Section 2. The accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks from the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $356,240.42, being the total amount of money above appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on May 17th, 2021. Read for the second time this May 17th, 2021, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I move that we approve these claims.
Thank you, Susan. Second, Teresa. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Hurt,
Yes.
Elbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows.
Yes.
All right. Item 7, unfinished business. Discussion of committee structure, Chapter 2, Article 7, Division 1, Section 2-226. Who's up for that? Is it Kate?
So at the last council meeting, we briefly discussed all the committees, and I am going to try to break it down a little bit by where the authority lies with which the committees were created. And I guess I'm asking council to tell me what to do. So I'm looking for some consensus on what we're doing. As I said in the email, all the staff members are here who had any of those committees. I don't know if Paul might know. Oh, I see him all the way back there. So if you have any questions about the committees and what they're doing, they are happy to answer the questions. The committees that we are talking about are on page 11. They're the ones set out by ordinance. It's the Fire Department Advisory Committee, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, the Airport Advisory Committee, Sanitation, Streets, Alleys, and Sidewalks Advisory Committee, and I'm gonna say the Police Affairs Advisory Committee. Frankly, the Animal Control Advisory Board has not met in at least 9 years. So we just need to clean the ordinance up to get rid of them, unless you wanna try to bring them back. And then I guess just if, to the extent that we are keeping boards on an ongoing basis, staff need help filling the committees. So we cannot find members on our own. We don't know as many people, we don't know the same people. So we need more help to fill our committees if we are going to be keeping them all. So with that, I will just open up the floor to questions or suggestions on how to move forward. Again, the options are we can just keep them as they are. You can move them to on-call, which would be no change in the ordinance, because it's not defined in ordinance how often they have to meet. Or you could choose to eliminate them. And if we eliminate them, then we will have to go ahead and amend our ordinance to reflect that. So, or anything else, I guess, really, but that seems to be the most likely of 3 directions.
Okay, we'll walk through the council. Susan?
I would be okay with an on-call sort of situation.
Okay?
Okay. Steve?
So does this have to be for all committees?
No,
I
you
mean,
could-
some committees, I think you need to have monthly, some quarterly, and maybe some on-call.
you can
I
pick
mean-
and choose.
We can pick and choose.
Mhm.
But we have more than just these 6, right?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
this is just the first batch that we're gonna
Oh, we're doing a
address.
batch, okay. Well, for me, I would say these all need to be at least quarterly. And on call if necessary. I say quarterly, on call if necessary.
Mike?
How much actual input comes from the board members to that actual,
How much input comes from the
comes
committee?
from the people that are on the actual board to that, and what difference does it make if they're on it or not? I mean, if the decision's gonna be made by the city anyway, for any of these, what do you need a board for? I mean, that's my question. I know that, is it just from a different perspective?
It's a good question. For the most part, the committees, aside from those that are required by the state, like Public Works,
Gotcha.
the committees are advisory in nature, as opposed to legislative. They don't make legislation, they suggest it if it's needed. Have I got that right? So that answers that question. What was the next question?
That was it, because I mean, realistically, if the ones that we're not mandated to have, those, if we have to have those boards there, leave those and let the rest of them go.
None of these we have to have. These are
I'm
purely.
saying, the ones that don't have to be created or kept, let them go.
Okay.
And then the ones that we have to have, roll with it. Because we can't find people to do the job anyway. So,
Which ones are mandatory of these?
None of these. These are all by a city ordinance. So these are all advisory boards, and they do not have to be here. So that's all we're addressing. We're not addressing anything that's set out by statute or that has a role or responsibility in the city tonight.
Set up by statute, Steve, you got P&Z, and you got Public Works.
They have to.
Those are examples. I don't think they're the only two, but when you think about it, both of those are necessary. Teresa,
I feel like it should be on-call basis.
I can just barely hear you.
On-call basis.
On call. Okay, so we still have the committee, but we ask, either the council or the mayor or administrator asks them to meet on a certain subject.
Right,
That's what you're suggesting?
correct.
Okay. Whitney?
I think on-call as well, because we don't know what could come up. Say, for the fire department, there might be something we need them to look into. So I think that leaves it to the chairman to decide when he wants to gather or not for input.
Could be a she.
Or he, she,
Mhm.
chairperson, did I say chairperson?
Right. Usually. Barry?
I think there should be quarterly or on-call because fire department is really important, police officers are really important. You know, I mean, sanitation, the sewer line might break or something, or you might have a problem with it, infrastructure. I think
Right.
they ought to be quarterly or on-call.
Okay. Albert?
I need to get a better understanding between the role of the board and the role of committee. In other words, what are the differences between the two? Can't the board do the same thing that we're asking this committee to do, the advisory committee?
Okay, what
What
board are you
board?
talking about?
Well, the boards for these same departments.
There isn't another board.
No.
These are the boards. Sorry, people are using those words.
Are you using the word interchangeable, committee and
Yes.
board?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, I guess that's where I was at.
Yes.
Semantics.
Okay, well, I guess my position would be at least quarterly and on call. And I say that because I don't know that we just need to have a meeting just because there's an issue or problem. What's wrong with getting together quarterly just to say, how's things going? For example, I would give this COVID-19 thing. I mean, I would love to have heard from each department as to how it impacts them, if any. So is there a need to get together for reasons other than an issue to resolve?
Well, the simplistic approach is that if we as a council have information that we'd like to get from them, we just simply ask. And then they meet and they give us the answer.
That may be, you're saying that's the way we've done it in the past?
Some?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm questioning, is that what we should or should there at least be a quarterly update or quarterly reporting without asking?
I don't know. For instance, sanitation, streets, alleys, and sidewalks advisory they don't manage anything.
You understand?
So they're not taking any consistent actions. But if something comes up, they need to be.
Let me give you an analogy, and I just throw this out for the benefit of the discussion here. When I was in the workforce, my boss we used to have a monthly board meeting, okay? And a number of people would pass in that board meeting. We'd come to them and call them, they would pass. And my boss approached me and he said to me, and I think it's true, if you manage people for a month and you have nothing to report, you're probably not doing the job. Now you can take that or leave it. That's what he said, and I kind of believe that. I think you should at least have something to report. If it's nothing more, then things are going fine. That's my thought. Okay?
So in your case, what you would do is schedule quarterly.
I would schedule quarterly and then meet on an ad hoc basis or on a special call basis when needed.
Okay.
May
We've
I
got,
add some stuff?
oh, Susan?
I just wanted to add to my comment. The advisory boards I've sat on have been informative, and I do think it's useful to have citizens who come together, whether it's quarterly or on call or ad hoc, to give a little bit of input. You know, there's different perspectives of what's going on around town, or, you know, different information, and I think it's helpful for citizens to be involved, so I would hate to see them go away completely. So either ad hoc, quarterly, whatever.
Steve?
I think it's good just to have a little oversight. I mean, for others to know what's going on. It just keeps people honest.
Informed, that's right.
All right, so is the consensus quarterly? And then on call if there's an issue that comes up? Is that what the consensus is?
That's my viewpoint. I had one other question I guess I wanted to bring up, or a comment I wanted to make that I guess I think about from time to time, and I don't know what's in place. Do we have a conflict of interest statement in place here? Where people serve on a board, they do sign a conflict?
Not advisory boards, because they don't have any authority. But like you guys have, we have a conflict of interest policy for you as a city council.
Now, if I understand the board meeting, they would make recommendations within the board, and those are presented to the council, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're saying,
The decision
if I was a
made here.
member, I'm sorry, if I was a member of the airport board, and say I own the airplane, would it be appropriate for me to serve on that board?
That's
Sure.
people we want on the board.
What? That's not a conflict of interest?
No,
Really? Well, what is
it's
a conflict?
consistent.
What is a conflict of interest?
In the policy.
I would make suggestion beneficial to me, would I not?
And you're an airplane owner, so if you're benefiting yourself, you're also benefiting the other airplane
Well,
owners.
maybe not. I just use that.
That's
but go
true.
ahead.
That's true, by the way.
An example would, if you had a paving company and they were putting contracts out for paving the runway, I mean, there'd be a conflict of interest, I would think, especially if you got the bid.
I'm guessing council probably aware of that.
Well,
I'm just
we
saying that's a
can't,
conflict of interest.
you can't,
Just a
you
conflict.
can't operate in a vacuum like that we know the council's gonna be aware of this person has a conflict of interest, and therefore we're not gonna put him on the board.
I think to clarify though is that, to use your example of the airport bid, okay, again, the airport, I don't remember what I told you, I think they haven't met since 2016, so there's
Well,
no conversation there, but like, what I
don't
want
want
to
you to
say,
hung up on
yeah, is that the detail, not always is the great details and the estimates and those things necessarily what might be talked about at a council meeting or at an advisory board meeting. That's all gonna usually be run through Scott, particularly if we're talking a street bid or a concrete or whoever we hire to do the work. So, we have no conflict. In fact, we usually want people that have a vested interest in whatever it is to be on the board, like, my kids play baseball, so I want to be on the parks board, or I have an airplane, and that's why I want to be on, I own an old home, and that's why I want to be on historic preservation, because.
Okay, well, we're just gonna agree to disagree on that.
Okay.
Well, that's fine. I don't agree with that. But, yeah.
I'm sorry, I have another.
This is getting way too complicated, and it doesn't need to be.
I
Go.
just want to know if it was decided to meet quarterly, don't we have the same issue of getting members?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I would be in favor of ad hoc, if that's the case.
I think in the council packet later on is our list of vacancies on pages 50 and 51. So you can see the highlighted ones are members that are needed. So,
Okay, I'm gonna suggest something and see if we can get some agreement. A, on-call, quarterly required, that's A. B, we keep, fire department advisory, parks and recreation advisory, sanitation, street alleys advisory, and we drop the other three.
airport.
So that's the two-part suggestion that I'm making.
So which ones you want to keep?
Fire department advisory, parks and recreation advisory, sanitation, streets, alleys, and sidewalks advisory. We drop airport, we drop animal control, we drop police affairs advisory committee. I'm gonna have a really, really difficult vote. Anybody object to doing it that way? Okay, I will take that. Everybody's in favor. And we're done with that for tonight, right?
Yes, so we will proceed with getting this ordinance amended then to eliminate the boards that seem to be in consensus about. But I do want to say, I want to clarify that should something come up, whatever it is, that you can always have an ad hoc committee come back. So just because we get rid of them, if we decide to embark on a big airport project,
One of the
whatever
best-
it would be, you could just have a committee come back to kind of guide through that project, and then once they're done, they're done. And I think the pool, the Parks and Recs Advisory Board was pretty instrumental during the pool process. They did a lot of work while it was being planned and built and designed, but then, their role was more diminished after that. So ad hoc is always an option.
And just I'll get you, Barry, I won't forget. One of the best ad hocs we've had, even though they've had some fantastic arguments, has been Heritage Days. That, once a year, right? That's an ad hoc committee that works. Barry?
So are you saying you want to get rid of the police board?
Not the police board. This is Police Affairs Advisory Committee.
This is the only police board we have.
Yeah.
This is the only one?
Yes.
Oh, then, good question. No, I don't want to get rid of the police
Okay.
board.
All right.
Thank you. Now we clarified me, didn't we?
Can I ask a quick question? So you're saying,
Tim.
what you're saying is you still want to have them quarterly, right?
Yes, sir?
And then on call as needed. But see, I'm already set up, I think, on quarterly, aren't I, Teresa?
You are.
Yes, sir.
And I bet I haven't had one in 2 years, because I can send a letter out, and between the time they receive the letter and time for the meeting night, I may be down to one person that's coming, and I just don't know. And then I can't, if I don't have anything to really tell them, I can say, well, we had 3 fire calls this month of this quarter, and we tested some fire hose, and they have nothing to do with personnel. They make no personnel decisions at all. They don't do anything personnel. So I don't know. I mean, I can send them a letter quarterly and try to have the meeting, but I'm sure not gonna guarantee you that it'll ever happen.
That's what the council's asking you to do. Steve?
I'll send a letter.
Quarterly or on call. How's that?
I really think on-call is reasonable.
As opposed to quarterly?
Yes.
You drop the quarterly.
That's-
How about the rest of
that's
them? Okay,
That's good. Okay.
all right, then we just did that. Thank you. This is fun making decisions, isn't it, Susan?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got decision made, and we understand it, Kate?
Yep. I'm here to
Okay,
proceed.
thank you, Tim. New business. Now, this is more fun. Accept Mayor Beach's recommendation of Andrew Coward for Ward 3 Councilman. Andrew, would you stand up, please? This is the young man that I asked to take, what's his face? Yeah. Place. Oh, Lord of mercy. Andrew?
Yes, sir.
You are recommended, okay? And we would like to have a motion to accept him. Oh, Whitney, what a surprise.
Mayor, I move we accept your recommendation of Andrew for Ward 3 Councilman.
Michael, your second?
Yes, sir.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Hurt,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows.
Yes.
This may be the first and last time that you are unanimously elected to anything. Congratulations, Andrew. Teresa?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I possess all the qualifications prescribed
that I possess all the qualifications prescribed
for the office of which I have been appointed by law,
for the office which I've been appointed by law,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
the provisions of all laws of this state
the provisions of all laws of this state
affecting cities of the third class,
affecting cities of the third class,
and the ordinances of said city,
and the ordinances of said city,
and faithfully demean myself
and faithfully demean myself
in the office of which I have been appointed
in the office in which I have been appointed
of the City of Boonville, Missouri.
of the City of Boonville, Missouri.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Item C, consider street closure and parking restriction request from Katy Bridge Coalition for June 5, 2021. That's on page 13, by the way.
Todd Bosley's here to answer any questions.
I beg your pardon?
Todd Bosley is here to answer any questions for you.
Hi, Todd. You can come on up to the podium if you want to, because it looks like we've got at least one question. Come on up to the podium. The reason for that is there's a microphone. Whitney.
I make a motion to approve it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Second?
I second.
Thank you, Susan. Questions? Comments? Todd, you may have taken that walk for nothing.
I know.
Yeah. But I thank you for doing it.
No problem.
Roll call.
Hurt,
Yes.
Elbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Cowherd.
Yes.
All right, approved. Thank you, sir. Item D, consider street closure and parking restriction request for Heritage Day celebration. This is on page 14 through page 29. And this is the official document.
We think so.
As of tonight, right?
We think so.
Okay.
I want to give just a little backstory. We're getting a very late start. We're trying to rush through some of these things so that we can try to get the planning set so we can move on to the finer details. Per the mayor's recommendation, he appointed 2 council members to our committee to try to help facilitate the street closures, Heritage Days, all that goes together. Michael Stock was, we had a meeting, Michael was there. Morris Carter, even though he's not on the council anymore, is still helping to facilitate that because he's been on that committee for several years and has worked very closely with us. We had a meeting. We went over the proposed street map that we first went over. With that being said, discussion was made to move the beer garden. So from the first map to what you all have now, it was decided because of problems with the post office, we didn't want to try to close them down, consideration to the Eagles with the beer garden. We felt the best place for them would be back in where they've always been, there in the city lot. With that, the carnival, we're trying to kind of adjust things to fit them in. I looked over what Brad was saying and I didn't quite see where he was talking about. Our thoughts were, we're leaving open in front of WJ's north to Spring Street. All that's going to be open. Anyone can come down Spring Street and access WJ's right there where Dr. Whiting has his clinic in through that way. So that area will be open. We are not requesting, the only thing for Spring Street would be Saturday morning's parade from like 8 a.m. to noon, because that's where we have our review stand. And so that would be the only time that little portion is closed, just so we can set up there, block that off, and do the parade, and then that would open back up. So it really shouldn't affect his business much at all. Originally, when we met with our group, we talked about going up Vine Street a ways for the carnival. When we went to get street closures, we did not ask for signatures on that street. After reviewing that, right at the entrance to 6th Street and Vine, there are some very low hanging wires. And we were afraid with the carnival equipment and height of trying to get them in there, we didn't want to try to manage that at all. We were afraid that might affect the residents there if they were to hit a wire, do anything like that. So we're going to effectively try to make the carnival fit on 6th Street, go just a little past Chestnut where it would stop before you get to WJ's, where the old Zietlow feeds would be as far as that would go. And then right there on Vine Street, east, before you get to Powell, just right in that area. We have not talked to the carnival. Morris is kind of facilitating that part. So what we'll have to do is we'll just have to pare down the carnival to make them fit in that space.
All right. Good, any question?
Just so I'm clear then, will Chestnut be open so that somebody wanting to do curbside at WJ's can pull through? And
They will not, because the carnival will go right up to the end of Chestnut. But somebody wanting to get anything from WJ's will go down Spring Street, turn south on 6th, and pull up right in front of WJ's.
Okay.
Yeah. Chestnut won't be accessible, but we have got it where WJ's will be. They can pull up curbside there.
Okay.
Yeah, we very much took into consideration Brad's request, and we want him to be successful too. My question is, parking on Chestnut Street, are people going to be able to park on that between Main and where the carnival starts if they want? I mean, I know that's been an issue for Brad in the past, is some of the carnivals sometimes have parked some of their vehicles there. But he should still be able to be accessible for WJ's, like I said, on 6th Street by coming down Spring and pulling right up to that area.
Sorry, this is not an accurate depiction of where the river will be, or it is?
No, not the one that's in
Where, and can you explain?
yeah, it's gonna be where it says bar for Maggie's, the city parking lot.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got a different one than what we've got.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So this isn't accurate?
Yes, you're not.
Your copy's accurate.
Okay.
Well, that's his restaurant, but he's gonna be
On the grass, and that'll be
Yeah.
the parking lot? Okay, thank you.
So included in your pack is the signatures that we went out and collected. There was only one business that I was not able to collect. We made 2 attempts, and they were busy both times, so they did not have a chance to speak with us. And that's the tattoo shop there on Spring Street. After I submitted the request for the street closures, I did have a chance to catch them when they weren't busy. They have absolutely no objections to that at all, and if you'd like, I can get the signature request for that. They were very agreeable and had no issues with that. When we went to collect the street closures, I would ask maybe in the future for council's consideration. I've been doing this 15, 16 years, and things have changed with the council over the years. Originally, when we started asking for signatures for street closures, it was to make sure that people were informed of how they would be impacted, which is not a bad thing. But with COVID, that really changed everything. When we went to get street closure signatures, there were some people that would not come to the door because they did not want to encounter anybody because of COVID. Tim Smith went for a signature, and the lady made him put on a mask to even stand on her porch. It was very difficult. I had one lady who I tried to talk through 2 doors with to even explain what I was doing and try to get a verbal okay and permission for a signature. So I guess what I would ask the council to consider is maybe with all the different ways of communication that there is available, that maybe in the future we could look at an easier way to make people feel at ease and for us to get the signatures. Because it's nice to bring tourism like this to town. It brings a lot of people, and it would really facilitate the efforts for things like this. And on the bottom of the street closures, it does say, persons with objections must appear before the city council prior to the request approval to voice their concerns. So whether that be a postcard, some kind of a mailer or something to inform them, and then ask them, like Brad, you know, if you have any objections, please come. So I just ask for consideration for that in the future. But this is our request for street closures and what we would like to see from the city in order to have Heritage Days.
Is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Whitney. Second? Teresa, thank you. Discussion? Any questions? Michael?
I don't see anything on south of Sixth, south of Vine. Enclosure. Vine to,
There's no houses there on Vine?
Chestnut.
Chestnut, we did not go down to Chestnut.
We're not gonna do that, okay?
No.
Okay, we'll do it. So
Yes.
looking at-
Yeah,
That's where we're.
So we're stopping right,
we're stopping at
we're right
Vine.
here at the old church,
Yes,
and then, okay, good, good, good.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right, okay.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Hurt,
Yes.
Elbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes,
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Coward.
Yes.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you all.
Item E, first reading of bill number 2021-017, approving local agency funding contracts.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving local agency funding contracts for services, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Item F, first reading of bill number 2021-018, approving project and final site plan for MU Health.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving the final site plan for the University of Missouri Boonville Health Clinic at 516 Jackson Road, Boonville, Cooper County, Missouri, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
I just want to note really quickly on that, so you guys know between this meeting and the next one, that Scott has finished his review. If you'll note in the third whereas, it said that it was contingent upon Scott finishing his review. He's finished his review and he says that it is good to go. So he's given all the approval.
Item 9, reports of standing committees, planning and zoning.
So we had a good meeting, discussing, this new proposed building. Went well, the notes are in the packet. If you have any questions, let us know.
Any questions from anybody? Nope. Reports of city officials, city administrator.
So tonight, Glenn Bishop is here, so I'll let him get started. For those of you who don't know Glenn, he 42 years?
Yeah, I've been here 42 years.
Yeah, 42 years.
I'm gonna
with
be
the
here
city.
43 and I'm leaving.
Go ahead, Glenn.
I sent a thing in the package. Did everybody get that, right?
Yep,
So.
page 48.
Does anybody have any questions about any of that, or? That's basically what we do on pretty much a day-to-day basis. There are other things, whatever jumps in, we, like today, I went down and picked up a sink and stuff, because we're gonna have to put our sink in. We got one that's bad, it's not our jobs, but, we do it.
Glenn's referring to on page 49 is the mowing list. So if you're wondering, all the areas that are our right of way or our lots,
That's basically what we mow every week, unless, like now, we get what we can get. We want the main highways that we do that's coming in, well, the only main highway coming in that we do is Route B. We mow that. And we try to keep it looking nice for people coming into our town. And our city buildings, we try to keep them. But everything else gets put on the wayside when it starts getting like this.
Any questions for Glenn? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You bet.
And then I was just gonna note, I'm gonna add 2 more people to introduce you to. I think, they're gonna partner up with Paul, so that will be Josh Black will be here to talk about the golf course. So for those of you who have not had an opportunity to meet Josh yet. And then I'm trying to get someone from BSA to come and talk about the soccer park operations. So, I'm hopefully gonna get those on July 6th, which is when Paul is slated to do the parks talk. So hopefully I can get all those, some of that might carry over. But if there's anything else I forgot and you wanna know about, just let me know and I'll try to find someone.
Anything else from the city administrator?
No, sir.
Mayor? Committee appointments on page 51. It's Matt Billings for Planning and Zoning Commission. Can I have a motion to approve him, please?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you, Steve. Comments? Roll call.
Hurt,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Coward.
Okay, item number 2, masks. What do we want to do with masks?
Repeal.
You know, now that the officials have said we don't have to, what do we want to do? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask, has everybody in the board been vaccinated?
Good question.
You can't
Not a
answer that.
HIPAA violation.
Is it a HIPAA violation? I have no idea, but it's a good question.
That's a HIPAA violation.
That's a HIPAA violation.
Oh, you can't ask?
Cannot ask.
Seriously?
It's a HIPAA violation.
Well, forget I asked then.
Yeah,
Did I
just
ask?
ask if there's a
Albert, you got me in trouble, but. Okay, but we can say what we want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to continue to wear masks at the council meetings?
No.
What's the question? Do we want to?
That's, we can volunteer to wear them on our own, or we can volunteer not to wear them. Go.
I would feel comfortable not wearing masks now that the evidence is showing for fully vaccinated individuals that it's basically safe. Let's hope that's correct, and that's what the evidence is showing. And I would even feel comfortable with us all being back on the dais
Good point.
for
Is that-
fully vaccinated people.
Is that the consensus?
I
What was the
think
last
so,
part?
we did get word that even a person unvaccinated, the exposure to them is very minimal. So I would,
You okay, Barry?
I'm fine with it.
Teresa? You okay with
I'm
that?
fine. I'll probably still put on my mask.
I think you already voted. And you can wear it, that's no problem. How about sitting up at the dais? Is that what you call it? Is it dais or dais?
I don't know.
I don't either.
That's how it came out, so.
Okay, we'll take it from you. We want to sit back up at the bar, at the dais,
The bar?
the bar. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we
All right.
returning, we can also return to full capacity. So if you guys want, we put all our chairs back out and welcome.
Yes.
Okay. Back
Okay.
to normal then.
All right, we're back to normal.
I do have a question. How does that affect the city's resolution for businesses?
Well, I think the resolution just went through up to April 1st or something.
Well, we didn't put an end on it, but really a resolution is only enforced as long as you guys want it. So you don't even have to repeal it. There's no obligation to do anything from here. It's just, you know, if a business wants to do it, then great. And if they choose not to, that's fine too, great. It's just up to them.
Okay, decision made. Page 24 and 25 in the packet. I couldn't figure out what they were.
That was a part of their request.
The horses were a part of their request. And then Association of Cooper County Republicans was part of their request.
It was a part of their request.
That came from you guys. Thank you, Laura, for sending that to us.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so that takes care of that. All right. City Clerk?
I have one thing this evening. I want to remind the council that the next regular council meeting is scheduled for June the 7th of 2021. Due to the month of April having, correction, due to the month of May having 5 Mondays. I'm a month behind.
All right, thank you. Any miscellaneous?
I have two observations I want to pass along if I could. I want to compliment whoever's responsible for cleaning up the corner of Spruce and Main there. Coming up Spruce, looking down Main, there was a bunch of greenery, and it was really blocking traffic there. And I noticed they worked that out, whoever lives there, who was responsible for that. They cleaned that all up where you can see ongoing traffic, because it was really a problem area there. So I want to pass that along. The other thing I just want to mention, I don't think we have any jurisdiction over anything, but there's a increase of people walking up and down Ashley Road at night. And I'm really afraid somebody's going to get hit and hurt or killed out there. There's no sidewalk, and especially if the grass is wet. Of course, they don't want to be in the wet grass, so they're kind of out on the road there a little piece. Sometimes they have on reflection, sometimes they don't. So it's really a problem. I guess I just want to make us all aware of that. There's something anywhere, any place.
Yeah, is there a cause for it to be more now than before?
I guess just because business is picking up out there. I don't know.
That could be.
And I don't know where they're going or where they're coming from, but it's not uncommon to drive by there at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night and somebody's walking up the road.
Holy smokes.
Oh, yeah.
In the road?
What's that?
In the road?
Well, not all the time, but sometimes they're not very far off the road, and they, you can't see them sometimes until you're right on them. It's really, I think, a concern.
It's not our jurisdiction. It's MoDOT.
Okay, is there a motion to enter closed session? Second?
Second.
Teresa is the second. We don't need a roll call.
Yes, we do.
Roll call.
Hurt,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Stock,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everybody, but I assume Scott, right?
Yes, sir.
See y'all.